Today I want to show you how to season your Dutch oven, turning it from this mess to this beauty. First, let's jump to the whiteboard and have a quick look at the why we have to season our cast iron from time to time. So this is our cast iron, and please excuse my poor drawing skills. So the surface of the cast iron is actually not flat. It contains tiny pockets like this. That's just the nature of cast iron. And now the reason it becomes rusty is because it starts to oxidize here in those spots. And that's what we have to fix. Now the way to fix this is the following. We are going to be applying a tiny layer of oil everywhere. And this is pretty much what seasoning does. We are going to be adding some oils, and they will almost be turning into something like plastic. The process is called polymerization. And this oil here then makes your cast iron somewhat non-stick. Well, it's never going to be as non-stick as a Teflon pan, but somewhat. So people telling you, yeah, my cast iron is as non-stick as a Teflon, nope, that doesn't work. But it's pretty much non-stick, and this also shields the cast iron from not being able to oxidize anymore, so you won't have that rusty look like the one that I have right now. Now this might be how the cast iron actually looks like in the end, but actually it takes maybe 2 or 3 attempts to get there. That's why you should be repeating the seasoning process. This might be seasoning 1. You can still see that we didn't fully cover here the cast iron. We still have some areas where the oil didn't fully sit in. And here then, upon applying the second seasoning, that's when we finally get that coating everywhere. Now it might also be that a few things are sticking to your cast iron, so you can definitely for the first seasoning be using something like soap just to remove everything and make the surface nice and clean. That's what we're going to be doing as well. Then we're applying our oil, and then we're just simply heating that inside of the oven. We will let that cool down, and then we will be applying the same thing one more time without the soap, just another level of oil. Some people even repeat this 2 or 3 times, but in my experience 2 times is typically enough. Let's do this. So let's season this and turn this into a beauty. I prepared a liquid with some soap and just some water. I do have a metal sponge here. I don't know what's the proper English word for this. I would say Metallschwamm in German. So sorry, yeah, I just learned my English while playing Diablo 2. So I'm just gonna call this Metallschwamm for now, and you have to just learn some German. So Metallschwamm. And I want to remove all those nasty parts now from the surface of the cast iron. And for that, I'm first using the soapy water. I also have another sponge here like this, ein Lappen. Ein Lappen. And yeah, let me just clean that first. Then I'll be using some water just to get rid of that soap. And I then have to repeat the same thing for the top part of the Dutch oven. I'm not going to show you, it's the same thing pretty much. So very simple, soapy water. And now just let's remove all this nastiness. Look at this. Oh yeah, and you probably need to get a new one after doing this. Ah, look at this. Already looking good. So that's what I now have to do everywhere pretty much. I have to remove all that nastiness. And then I'm using this sponge here to just remove the layer of soap. So yeah, I'm repeating this, I'm removing that layer, and then afterwards I want to dry it. And for drying it, I'm placing it in the oven for around 15 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. this is already looking much better. I want this now to dry out and then we will be applying our layer of oil. You really do want to make sure that you remove all that soap so you could also rinse this pan now under some water. Try to dry this out before placing this in your oven to heat it up. And again, it's just going to be at around 50 degrees Celsius for around 15 minutes. Yay, also looking much better already. So, still looking a little bit rusty, but we will get there. Now is the time where we have to apply our coating with oil. I'm going to be using sunflower oil, but you can also be using other oils. The only thing you need to know is that you should be looking at an oil that has many unsaturated fats. They will polymerize easier, creating a connection with your cast iron. And you also need to know that how hard you have to heat your cast iron to polymerize the oil depends on the smoke point of the oil. You want that oil to smoke. So for sunflower oil, the smoke point is at around 230 degrees Celsius. So I'll be heating this to 240 degrees Celsius. If you use an olive oil, it might depend on what kind of olive oil you have. So hope that made sense. And now let's put in some oil. And now we just have to repeat the same process as before. I'm using a paper towel. I'm gonna rub that oil everywhere. I want that to enter all the tiny pores of the cast iron. This is also an advantage where we heated up the cast iron a little bit. It really allows the oil to enter all those tiny pores here on the cast iron. Look at this. Isn't this already looking amazing? So much better than before. Now I have to repeat the same thing with the lid, but I guess you get the point. Looking already much better. I placed it inside of my oven and now we want to reach that smoke point. Just showing you the temperatures here one more time depending on your oil. Please also open up your window because you don't want that smoke inside of your apartment or house. And look at this. This is almost looking like new again. I'm just gonna let this cool down now and then I will be giving this the second seasoning. It's hot. Oh, look at this. It's almost looking like new again. So satisfying. I'm gonna be repeating the same process one more time with the oil. And this really makes sure that the surface is sealed everywhere. So yeah, it's a little bit of work. And it's interesting to see because I can now already feel how the oil is somewhat here, no longer really applying or getting into a connection with the cast iron. Do you see that? So this is exactly what we want to do. I'll just try to rinse off all the excess oil. I don't want that to be in the oven. So it's going to be a little bit drier than this. So this is looking great now. I removed some of the excess oil and it's now ready to get its second seasoning. And we are done. Oh, look at that. It's looking so nice. And when you touch it, you feel that the surface is just so smooth already. Perfect. And here the lid is also great. Here I failed a little bit. This is when you don't remove all that excess oil, so you really want to rub it with that paper towel. But overall, I'm super happy with how it's turned out, just comparing it to the one that we had before. So, time to put this to a test and bake the first bread in it. Looks so nice. I already baked the bread, but this is the second one, and let me show you how that's gonna work out. I always like to sprinkle a little bit of semolina flour. This just helps with the sticking of the dough. And time to load our dough. I always like to load it like this. This is super gentle on the dough. So easy. And coming out nicely. I really didn't expect this, but making this cast iron look so pretty was really super oddly satisfying. So I hope you enjoyed watching me doing some hard work. I would be curious to know whether your technique for seasoning is any different. Please do drop a comment in the comment section. So thanks for watching, I hope you learned something new, and as always, let me end this by saying, may the gluten be with you.